Hey guys, it's Cap Corgi here. I wanted to give some rough news. This happened a couple of days ago. Actually, I think like several days ago, where Nintendo has created yet another lawsuit, yet another issue for the entire gaming world due to Nintendo's abject complete greed. Again, they're targeting Palworld. And basically, but this is an issue that doesn't affect just Palworld. It affects possibly every single game possible. Jez Corden covers a lot of Xbox, so he's saying, especially including many owned by Xbox. But this is encompassing any game with any summoning mechanic. Basically, Nintendo filed a patent that and was awarded a patent, which is insane, that basically encompasses anything that you can summon and fight in the US. So what this means is if you can summon a character that can fight on its own, that is now a patent that is owned by Nintendo. There are two different patents. One is the smooth switching of writing objects. This was previously, actually. I made a video about this. I'll definitely put that in the discussion below. It was a video on basically Palworld had a mechanic, and many other games have this mechanic as well, where the PAL, if it was a jet PAL, like a PAL that was like a fighter jet or had wings or whatever, you could use it to fly around the map, right? You can't do that any longer because Nintendo got a patent, or they filed for the patent beforehand, and it was, I think, issued to them in Japan, and it was going to be fought out in the US. They were issued it in the US today, so it's been fully granted to them, which covers the quote-unquote smooth switching of writing objects. Palworld worked around this, Pocket Pair and Palworld worked around this by basically, you no longer fly the PAL, you now fly a glider instead. So they had to completely change their fucking mechanic in order to placate dog shit Nintendo, who wants to own every patent out there and wants to sue everyone, making the gaming landscape worse for everyone. It fucking sucks, man. So they've already done that. But now, the next patent that they got already was a week ago, actually well over a week ago now, on September 2nd, because it covers the fundamental mechanics of summoning a character and having it fight another. So as Jez Corden says for Windows Central, yes, this obviously sounds like Pokemon, but it describes pretty much everything else. So this is covering everything from Final Fantasy to, Diablo has summoning mechanics. If you have ever played a game with a necromancer, congratulations, Nintendo can now sue your game. If you play a game like World of Warcraft, every MMO of all time has summoning mechanics, and the creatures fight them. A hunter in World of Warcraft that has a pet and is able to fight things because you captured a wolf or a cat or a dog or a crocodile or whatever. All those are real pets in World of Warcraft. Nintendo can go back and sue, Blizzard for all those mechanics. This is a level of overreach that is insane. If a game has a warlock, Nintendo can sue you. If you have a demon pet, if you play D&D, Nintendo can probably try to sue you. And they sue charities and stuff. They're probably trying to sue you too. It's absolutely insane. How this was allowed to be given is crazy. And it gets worse. Basically, unlike many patents as well, which face heavy scrutiny and rejections, and you have to edit the patent, you have to go through it again and say, okay, maybe I overreached here, let's try to fix it, blah, blah, blah. This patent for summoning faced no rejections, no heavy scrutiny or anything, without any objection whatsoever. It was filed in March 2023 and granted just last week without a single issue, and Nintendo was able to get this patent. So this was either a complete oversight, or the people looking over the patent are absolute fucking shills that are like either loving Nintendo or paid by Nintendo or something. I don't even know. I have no idea how they could possibly be given this patent. I have no idea how. But it's crazy. So the patent encompasses many different things. There must be a PC, console, or computing device. Game is stored on a drive or similar storage medium. You can move the main character in virtual space. This covers every single game that I've talked about. Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, blah, blah, blah. You have a character. You can summon a secondary character. So that is either a pet or a warlock or, you know, a freaking hunter pet that you can summon as well. All these things are pets. All these things. All these games. The number of games that do this is, frankly, countless. There are so many games where you can do this. You can do this in Minecraft mods. You can do this in, shoot, depending on the definition of summoning, even a game like Total War Warhammer, which is a game I'm playing right now, you have summoning mechanics in that game. Where you can, like, you know, have an animal wizard, and he can summon a manticore and stuff. And that'll fight for you. So I guess, you know, Nintendo could sue that game as well. Insane level of overreach. If the enemy is present, the summoned character fights it, either automatically or based on your input. So it's not even automatically. I was incorrect when I said automatically. And if there isn't, the summoned character can still move and fight when it encounters an enemy later. So basically, you know, it has an idle animation, things like that. So all of the games that I said about this can be absolutely wrecked by Nintendo. This is the problem with patents in video games. If you don't remember, in my previous videos, I talked about the situation where one of the most famous patents, the Nemesis system, which was created in a great game called Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I'll show you guys this game right now. Middle-earth Shadow of both War and Mordor had this. They had a system called the Nemesis system. Very, very interesting system where when I'll just put on some random footage of the game in the background so you can see it. It was a third-person action RPG where you would go around as this character and you'd fight all these orcs in Mordor. It was a really, really great game. Probably one of the best WB-made games ever. But one of the things was that if you fight an orc, let me see if I can find footage of it in here, and it kills you, it will actually level up with you. It'll become more powerful. It'll, you know, become something that follows you. It'll have a little bit of extra lore. It'll have some powers granted to it based on how it fought you. These are it starts out as the captains of Sauron's army over here. And it added a lot of progression in the game. It added a lot of... Here it is. So like, you have... they have different levels. They have different abilities, and so on and so forth. And if you're able to... you know, if it fights you and survives, if you're not even able to kill it, or something like that, it'll become ever more powerful. Gave some procedural generation to the game. This was patented by WB Games. And as a result of this patent, no other game was able to use this entire mechanic forever. Like, literally ever. No other game uses this. It's insane. It is such a cool system that could have been used in... Shit. Ironically, Pokemon would have, you know, benefited from a system like this. It could have been used in, you know, Assassin's Creed. Could you imagine? In Assassin's Creed, if you're playing an, you know, an action game like this, you're running around as, you know, a character in Assassin's Creed assassinating things, you miss your target. You shoot an arrow or whatever, you do the little, like, blade, the wrist blade thing, and they don't die, they get dodged or something like that. And as a result, they're able to learn from the player and become more powerful. So freaking cool mechanic that could be used in every single video game. This is just one example. You could put it in, you know, the new James Bond video game, because, you know, characters are supposed to be smart in games like that. Hitman could have used this. You know, the number of games that could use this type of mechanic go on and on and on. and not a single game has been able to use it because this patent is owned by fucking dogshit WB, and they've never made a second game. Shadow of War, Shadow of War game. Shadow of War was made in 2017. So that was 8 years ago. And it had, many problems with pay to win and bad DLCs and everything like that, because this was and they felt like they could get away with it because the makers of the game knew there was no competitor to it. So they made their game worse as a result, and everyone was forced to play it until we all yelled about it and they had to fix their game. But they try to get away with it. Oh, yeah, Elden Ring is another game that has summons. Oh, yeah, you can no longer play Elden Ring. Congratulations. You can no longer play Baldur's Gate. Congratulations with this patent. But yeah, this mechanic being owned, any mechanic being owned by a patent in a video game is fucking crazy. It should not happen, because it stifles competition, it stifles innovation, and as a result, the entire gaming world is made weaker, is made worse. We're able to have less innovation, we're able to have less learning, we're able to have less things happen in the game. If this continues, because Nintendo now owns this patent, if they're able to, wreck other companies and things like that by owning this patent and being the litigious company that they are, they do countless lawsuits towards individuals, towards streamers, towards YouTube content creators, towards charities. No one is safe from YouTube. YouTube. No one is safe from Nintendo. And as a result, if they're able to, continue to own this patent in the form that it's in, I have no doubt they're going to go after every single game they possibly can to make as much fucking dog shit, free fake money that they possibly can as well. It's absolutely crazy. I can't believe it's legal to be able to patent game mechanics like this. It shouldn't be. And frankly, every game mechanic like this should not. I think we need to have a review of the patent system in general. Like, this shows the absolute, frailty and the major issues with the DNA of the patent system. But not only that, this should be fought in court. Because if it's not, it'll create a precedent where every single game company that tries to make a game will start to patent the mechanics of that game. And no game will be able to build upon the previous, which is so stupid. Imagine if, Lies of P, fantastic game, one of the best Souls-like games out there, that is not owned and created by From Software. Imagine if From Software was the only one who could make a Souls-like game. We would not have games like Lies of P. Now, From Software is not a dogshit company. They're a great company. They're not going to try, hopefully not going to try to litigate or anything like that. But say they owned the patent for being a Souls game. We would not have any of the thousands and thousands, no Code Vein, no Lies of P, no Notria, no, Lords of the Fallen. None of those games would be allowed to exist if the Souls-like formula was patented. If Nintendo gets their way, and they're able to make a lot of money via it, we will not be able to have any games like this ever. We will not be able to have unique games that build upon the lessons of previous games. We would not be able to have, for example, Expedition 33. Why do I say Expedition 33? Because for me, Expedition 33 is the kind of like the iteration of a fantastic RPG, one of my favorite RPGs on the PlayStation 1, called Legend of the Dragoon. One of the best PlayStation 1 games ever. One of the best, RPGs, in my opinion, ever made. And the entire combat system, let's see if I can find some footage of the combat system. Just a random bit of combat. You'll be able to see very, very quickly. You'll be like, wow, that combat looks a lot like Expedition 33. Because just like Expedition 33 has a timer-based combat, where when you're fighting, you have to do certain inputs. You can basically combo your attacks. If you press a button at the right time when something's attacking you, you'll be able to either dodge or take less damage from a monster or an enemy of some kind. That entire mechanic was all the way back on PlayStation 1. That mechanic is not patented, thank God. That's why we're able to get a game like, what's it called? Paper Mario, which did it later on. Which is why we're able to get other RPGs that did the exact same mechanic. Which is why we're able to get Expedition 33. If that wasn't the case, we would not have Expedition 33, and the mechanic would have died with Legend of Dragoon, and whoever made... See, there you go. As soon as the square goes in, you have to do it to do the next phase of the attack over and over again, and every single attack ability is exactly like that. Looks a lot like Expedition 33's attack animations, huh? By the way, this is no shade on Expedition 33. Expedition 33 is one of the best games ever made. It's definitely one of the shoo-ins for the games of the year this year. And I love the game Expedition 33. No shade on Expedition 33. I'm saying this is why you shouldn't own game mechanics. We would not have Expedition 33 if what Nintendo just did is the norm. And if they do get away with this, again, Diablo is gone. World of Warcraft, gone. Any game with summoning, Final Fantasy, all of them gone. The list goes on and on and on. Where does it end, guys? Where does it end? Where do we stand up, every single one of us, and say, Nintendo, you're a dog shit litigious company. You're trying to ruin gaming. Go fuck yourself. We're not going to buy your games anymore. And we do a full boycott on Nintendo. When is that going to happen? What is the line for all you fucking disgusting, reprehensible Nintendo shills that will take any amount of shit that Nintendo gives to you and eat it? All the people who bought the Nintendo Switch, which is infinitely more pricey now, with $80 games, with, games with rehashed content like all the Pokemon games out there and stuff. You guys keep buying their shit, where they've proven over and over and over again they're one of the worst, soulless, dog shit gaming companies out there. Yeah, they make cute games. Yeah, they made Donkey Kong Bonanza, which everyone loves. They made Mario Kart, which has major issues now. So on and so forth. But, as a property, Mario Kart is, generally very popular. All of these things are they're able to do these things because you allow them success. If everyone stopped buying Nintendo games because they're bullshit, which a lot of us have stopped buying Nintendo, but there's still way more Nintendo shills than there are Nintendo haters. And frankly, I don't know why. If you're a Nintendo fan, tell me in the comments below, why the fuck do you still buy Nintendo games? Why? They do this on the regular. When Blizzard came out with Diablo Immortal, one of the worst games ever made, in order to level up, it was like $81,000 or something. Someone did the math. It was like literally in the dozens of thousands of dollars of pay-to-win microtransactional power in order to create your character and make it the strongest it could possibly be. The entire gaming world called them out for their bullshit, and people stopped buying the game. People, absolutely slandered them. Slander actually implies that it's not true. They correctly talked shit about Blizzard as a company until they promised their next game at least wouldn't have pay for power. We at least stood on business to make sure this bullshit didn't happen with their next game. Diablo Immortal, fucking dogshit mobile pay-to-win game that it is, still exists, sadly. We couldn't kill it. But it was at least a unified enough outcry that for all of its faults, and there are many, Diablo 4 is a little bit of a mediocre game. By a little bit, I mean very mediocre game. So on and so forth. But at least it's not pay-to-win dog shit. But no, Nintendo gets away with everything. I don't get it. I've never understood. But, I'm not trying to be antagonistic on purpose. I am trying to bring up a major point that I don't know why Nintendo's able to get away with this. But I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you guys think about this entire situation with patents? There we go. The Nintendo superfans. Leave my multi-billion-dollar company alone. Actually, I love this one better because he has the switch sticks and one is literally in his ass. This is one of my favorite ones. But yeah, it's absolutely insane the level of douchebaggery Nintendo fans will allow for their favorite billion-dollar company. I've never understood it. I'm not saying that other companies don't do this kind of bullshit as well. I hate them all. Ubisoft does bullshit. I call it out. EA does bullshit, I call it out. Look at my previous videos. I called out every single game company that I personally care about or have heard the news about or had time to cover in my 2 very short years of, creating YouTube content and my 6 short years of creating streaming content on Twitch. But every single game company that does things like this, I call out. I leave no stone unturned. I've created a very, I think, at least authentic voice for you guys. That anytime a company pulls their bullshit, I'll call it out. Now it's Nintendo's turn. I've called them out many times before, and this is yet another thing, another overreach. And something that I think, genuinely, where do we go from here? I think Nintendo overreached. I think they completely overreached. The fact that this was able to go through without any objections, scrutiny, or rejections of any kind is insane. And I think this can be attacked in court. If they try to attack another company, I think they should be attacked in court. Someone should sue them before Nintendo starts suing. And hold their feet to the fire. Say, I have a summoning mechanic. Let's say Square. Squaresoft and Sony and so on. They basically state, hey, you're trying to own a game mechanic that is used in my game, Final Fantasy, for what is it, like 16 mainline games, an MMO, multiple, spin-offs, close to 30 games use the summoning mechanic, which is every single one of them, in Final Fantasy. And we have like all the Final Fantasy Tactics titles. There's a billion Final Fantasy games. I don't see why Squaresoft shouldn't attack and go on the... they're not Squaresoft anymore. They're just Square Enix. I don't see why they don't go after Nintendo and say, you're trying to own our game mechanic. A game mechanic that's used by every single game, but, we especially use it in ours. It's integral to our game. This is bullshit. You can't do this. And they should sue Nintendo. I think if that happens, Nintendo would be forced to back the fuck up. They would be forced to, have their patent rewritten. They'd be forced to not have a patent. I think them having the patent, period, is bullshit. And I think it is very legally fightable. I'm generally not wrong about these things. I work in business. I've covered legal issues. I've talked about the legality of the previous lawsuits against Palworld that Nintendo's brought. I've covered the lawsuits Nintendo's brought against other people, charities and so on and so forth. I covered the lawsuits of, other game companies completely. A lawsuit that was held against... or a possible lawsuit that people were thinking of holding against Battleshake Games for Escape from Tarkov when they had the entire Unheard of Edition debacle, so on and so forth. The list goes on. I've covered these types of things. I work with legal contracts and so on in my day-to-day job, my absolute day job of business, with corporate law, but, and I'm not a trained lawyer by any means whatsoever, but I'm a businessman, so I have to read contracts, I have to be able to know what I should sign, what I shouldn't sign, and so on and so forth. So in my limited knowledge, I don't see how or why a company like Blizzard or Squaresoft or any of these other companies could not go against Nintendo immediately, except for the fact that Nintendo is a bully, and Nintendo uses wallets and its extremely high-powered lawyers to fight and try to outlast someone who would win against them in a court of law. This is what they do. They keep filing injunctions and this and that, bullshit, frivolous aspects to a lawsuit that cost a lot of money. And that is how they outlast other opponents. That's how they were able to fight other indie games. That's how they were able to shut down other Pokemon-esque style games with pets. Why are there so few pet games? This is exactly why. Absolute bullshit. I think Nintendo deserves your ire. I think Nintendo deserves to get fucked as a company. And I genuinely hope to see it happen. And I will do my best to cover everything I possibly can about the continuation of this lawsuit. And, hopefully a lawsuit being filed. And any of these patent situations, anything I can, as truthfully as you guys deserve. So if you guys like that, give this video a like, give it this channel a sub, share it with your friends. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Be sure to share this video, because sharing the video is the only way to make this channel succeed. And I truly, truly appreciate your time, and I truly appreciate your willingness to, help me live out my dreams. Just creating cool, interesting gaming content, sharing both the good and the bad as I see it, and as should be deserved. So, catch you guys in the next video.